Of the Salty Batch Files, Xvault here, and of course we got a lot to go over. We got the usual suspects such as Colt and Gaz and all that, and they're basically coming off of the tip-top Salt Rushmore, if you will, in regards to the PlayStation 5 Pro, really hurting their feelings, really hurting their identity, so to speak, and all the above. So we got a lot to get to here, folks, so without further ado, let's go ahead and jump to it. Alright, so like I was saying, we're going to get right to it here. Colt Eastwood, the first of the shills, the first of their kind, it seems like at this point in time. But he starts off, PS5 Pro's reviews are in, and the PS5 Pro photoshopped here, painfully average. So we're starting this here, so we're going to have that same theme as we continue here. And then, of course, he goes off perfectly balanced, as all things should be, quoting, of course, the great Infinity War movie, one of my favorites. But unfortunately, he's comparing these two pieces of hardware, the PlayStation 5 Pro and the Xbox Series S. Clearly something you shouldn't be comparing whatsoever. And then on top of that, we're going to, of course, use those much affirmed IGN reviews. They have been on such a top tier review form as of late, or how about almost not ever, especially since Greg and Colin and all of them went away and we just got the Xbox Brigade there anymore. And they're just reviews, whether it's movies or games, have just fallen short and the opinions are just all over the place and usually not hitting the consensus. But that said, really you can see this theme of things, like I said, through the pre-salt here, the hurt, they're hurting their feelings, their identities being challenged, you name it. It's just everything they are. And of course, how it started, how it's going, he just continues to go on and on. He's just not stopping anything to protect that Xbox brand. And remember, they wanted you to believe, Colt and Gaz and many of the others, they want you to believe that ever since basically that Xbox has been shifting their first-party games to their competing platform, which is PlayStation 5, that's where we have an issue on what they're going to do. What side of the trek are they going to go on to? And they're trying to push that PC envelope, but here we are, regressing back to the, over to the Xbox side of things, from PlayStation, from PC, whatever narrative they want to spit you for the week, they just want to keep going here. So, in conjunction, we're going to swing around to the PS5 Pro here in just a moment, but as you may have noticed at this point of recording, you have seen that Death Stranding is now available on Xbox. It's already been available on PC, obviously already available on PlayStation. It was even on PC Game Pass. But now it's the new thing, because this is the new coping mechanism. Well, we got this once great game that was on PlayStation over to the Xbox side of things, and we're just looking at it now. The best part about this, folks, and let's just show this right now before we keep going. Gaz, WTF, Death Stranding coming to Xbox, because this is what was going on. And of course, if you don't know, Kojima wanted to buy those rights from Sony so he can distribute and put his games, especially Death Stranding and the like, on multiple platforms. It's just more preferable to Kojima and obviously more of a moneymaker, I'm sure, possibly. I don't know. We'll see how many folks actually purchase this outright on Xbox, but we'll see. But yeah, so he's already fronting for the Death Stranding game, right? So we're not done there. We're not done. We keep going. We're going to keep with that same theme here, folks. Now, as you see on here, Gaz, very upset because we got to hold this accountable. Let's pull this up, by the way. I'm sure the PS5 Pro will have some impressive results, and being the only mid-gen console on the market, there is an appeal for console owners who now expect 60 frames per second as standard. But for those that can go to PC, the answer has never been clear. PC is the way to go. He turns back because a lot of people are giving him crap. Now he's stating right now, and remember, you see this was put on over a week ago at the time of this recording, right? And now, as of today at this time of recording, LOL, they are so mad at me enjoying Death Stranding on Xbox, effing go shout at Kojima, not me. So he's completely unaware at this point in time. It's okay for him to be a hypocrite. It's okay for him to call other people out and all this stuff and calling other people out that don't even deserve to be called out, but he's a bona fide hypocrite. So all these folks that were sitting there talking about Death Stranding, it's a walking simulator, it's FedEx Express, it's all this stuff, right? Making fun of the game, that a lot of folks on PlayStation side of things that got to play it said this is really a great game. Yes, it may not be for everybody for sure, but it really is a great game. And they were harping on this so hard. And here we have the hypocrisy of these shills that a lot of you folks out there, if you happen to come to this video, are either aware of, or some of you may even follow these guys. And why? I don't know. I mean, if you want to live in a delusional reality, I guess be my guest. But this is hypocrisy at its finest here. It just doesn't end. And as we continue to go on, right, we're not done with that there. So we even have Colt here. First 2 to 3 hours are fantastic. I gave up on PC Game Pass at Chapter 3, but this time I want to see all it has to offer. 15 achievements already. This is how you know they're nothing but liars, frauds, and shills, because they don't stop the hypocrisy. It's ridiculous. He is supposedly pro-PC. Gaz is like, PC is the way to go. That's where they should go. That's where they should put all their time, effort, money, all this stuff, the new ecosystem, and they don't do it. They come back, and now that it's on Xbox, it's a great game. I need to re-experience this. Maybe I was just wrong. Maybe if you stop shilling and fronting for 2 seconds, you would realize there's a lot better games out there if you give them the chance, but because they're not on your precious platform, you don't give them a chance. I can't imagine talking crap on a game I've never played all the way through, or just hating on a game because it's on another system. I've never once hated on, or, speculated that Hi-Fi Rush was a horrible game, or that it's not for me, or anything like that. If it was good enough, I would jump on and play it on that system, but it just, to me, it didn't jump out. I'm not saying it's a bad game, and I'm not going to turn around, nor did I buy it on PlayStation still at this time. I'm not being the hypocrite these guys are. Just keep that in mind. So, let's continue on back to the PS5 Pro, but we have some more stuff in regards to that, right? We have some more delusional takes here, of course. That's the best part about this. And on top of that, we have the next person here. Now, as we go over to the PS5 Pro, though, I do want one more example of Death Stranding here. So we have Ryan McCaffrey. He shows, as you can see, I'm sure Sony is thrilled because Sony had everything to do with this. Why would they tarnish the relationship with Kojima and say, you can't buy these back? If you're going to make that gentleman mad, that's not in your favor. No, are they thrilled to probably toss it out and be like, well, there goes a great, IP that could be secured more of an exclusive franchise, at least on the platform, right? But as he continues on beforehand, this is back in November of 19. Regardless of how one feels about Death Stranding, it's very much not my cup of tea personally. I really appreciate that Sony let a creator run wild with vision and a big budget. I feel the same way about David Cage's games, which I do like. I'm very glad Sony funded them. But again, he's just showing the fact that he's just a little bit salty there. A little bit salty, and throwing that salt out to Sony like I'm sure they're thrilled. Yeah, they did help fund it. Yeah, they did let him go wild. But they also had a great game that Xbox players and users did not want to touch, the frauds and shills anyway, because it was not on their system. So they just kind of scoffed this away, but Ryan just isn't done there, right? Now, as I said, what we got is some preemptive salt here again, just kind of is PlayStation 5 Pro's coming out. Now we got to get back to a game comparison from the great Nico here. That's what's kind of crazy to me. Astrobot sold 1.5 million copies. Hi-Fi Rush sold 3 million copies. Hi-Fi Rush was a shadow drop on Game Pass. Hi-Fi Rush sold 890k copies on Steam. Game Pass does not destroy sales. Single platform exclusivity doesn't work. Sony needs to release on more platforms. So now it's coming back to the fact like, look guys, Hi-Fi Rush did okay, which it didn't do well enough. That's why, again, the ports, because no, it was on Game Pass. It did hurt it. If it wasn't for Steam, it really would have been abysmal at that point in time. At this point in time, Astrobot has sold over 1 million copies. Being explicitly on the PlayStation 5 only, I think, is phenomenal. It is a hit, especially the amount of money that went into this AA, not AAA game. AA game, that's a huge, huge win. No matter how somebody like this moron spins it, he can keep begging for those games, keep port begging those games, but that's not going to happen anytime soon anyways. As the far off future, 15 years from now, who knows? Anything can happen, right? But anytime now, between now and 5 years, that is not going to happen. No first-party single-player games is going to a competing platform like Xbox. That's the true words right there. Now, what we have to do is quickly shift over to Destin because he's also doing some great shenanigans here. I guess I could say it nicely without doing the first thing that came off the top of my mind. But hey, here we go. More salt, more begging here. Hey, remember in
here we go again.
April when I said that Xbox wasn't the only one rethinking console exclusives, and I asked a bunch of experts who agreed, but everyone dunked on the idea? Death Stranding, now on Xbox. Not due to Sony, by the way. Lego Horizon, day one on Switch. Not on Xbox, and it's a Lego property, regardless of Horizon being in there. Keep that in mind. PS5 multiplayer titles, day and date on PC. Yes, games as a service should be going to PC as well. As a matter of fact, probably multi-platform. That's how you make your money. This isn't a single-player first-party game. Spider-Man 2 coming to PC. Yes. PlayStation single-party, first-party games have been coming to PC for years now. And that was alluded to and told that that would happen before it even happened. There is nothing on the blueprint stating day and date right now for PC. Will that happen again in the future? Possibly. Possibly. But one thing that isn't going to happen is shift on over to Xbox. Like I just said, not happening. Not anytime soon. That's just the fact. So keep on whining, competing, begging to compete for those games in between different platforms because PlayStation doesn't have a need to do that for Xbox. They're not going to do anything, and they're sure as hell ain't going to put it on Game Pass and lose even more money and jeopardize the sales on PlayStation. And no one's going to buy it on Xbox. Most Xbox players have been conditioned, like I've said multiple times, conditioned to play Game Pass and rent the games, not buy them. That's just the way it is. That's why they are where they are right now. And we see their first-party games, multiplayer or first-party single-player games, coming to a competing platform, which is something I didn't think to expect at least for another 7 years from when it was first initially done with Hi-Fi Rush. Let's continue. Square Enix in the future. Square Enix titles will be released simultaneously on each platform more and more. Again, this is not a Sony first-party game. Sony makes third-party deals. They have since PlayStation 1. If Square Enix wants to change that because they think they can make more money, they might be able to make a little bit more money. Just a little bit more, you know? And I think they're more speaking to it being simultaneously on PC. I think Xbox is just kind of an afterthought. It'll be there. It'll probably be ported as well. That's fine. But they're probably going to make a little bit more money, but they're not going to make a ton of money. Not much like some of these shills would have you believe, right? They're not going to be like, well, they're going to make the same amount of money that released on PlayStation, right? They're going to make the exact same money. No, it's going to probably be half the amount at best. And that's just the way it is. And again, that's not even trying to throw shade. That's just being honest. They're going to make probably half the amount. But the consensus of this post is just how much Destin is now wanting. And a lot, not just Destin, a lot of them, but especially Destin or Dustbin, if you will. They want this to happen because look, Xbox is a hardware brand. It's not looking so good. It's not looking that great. They have basically been bowing out. And their next move, and more than likely going to be their next move, like we've alluded to multiple times and talked about multiple times on this channel, is that they're going to go with a hybrid handheld piece. If you go hybrid handheld, you're looking at the type of specs that you'd be expecting from possibly the Switch 2, possibly the ROG Ally, depending what you want to play with. Maybe there's different models, stuff like that. That is truly their only avenue going forward, is to have some sort of hybrid handheld piece of things. It's still going to remain, and by I mean Xbox, Microsoft, they're still going to lean and mostly shift to being a third-party publisher. Hey, here's our stuff, just like Steam's doing, right? Steam Deck and all that. Here's a great device that some of you may like. Gives you some options, freedoms, this and that. Mess with this, but we're still going to be shifting our games everywhere. Still going to be shifting their games everywhere. And if those games are available everywhere, guess where they're probably going to end up when we're talking about consoles? And I hate to say this, folks. I hate to say it because there's little to no competition once Xbox goes. So I do and wish they would have stuck around and did things better. I never agreed with Game Pass. And they should have done it better. They truly should have. So now Sony is going to have more of a free reign to do stuff because Nintendo does their own things. They had their own stuff. They do their own things. They're in a different direction. Power's not their game. Other things are not their game. They leave that, or they left that anyways, to PlayStation and Xbox, right? And so we're going to see Xbox kind of do the same thing. And they're going to kind of bow out of the hardware race. It's really not going to be anything to talk about in regards to competition there. There will be right at first. It's going to be brand new. It's going to be fun, just like, you know, the Switch 2 and stuff. And that'll sell like hotcakes. We'll see what happens. Like I said, Xbox is getting into the handheld market if they do go that route when it's official. And it's already there with the Switch 2. It's already there with the Steam Deck. And they're going to have many other iteration and versions and models of the Steam Deck. We have ROG Ally, Lenovo stuff. We're going to have a lot of different options out there as time goes on because they're like, why are we not getting a cut of this pie? You know, and it might work out for them. There's only so much room in these spaces as Xbox has been pressed to find out ever since the OG Xbox. Aside from that anomaly that was the 360, they got a year head start on PlayStation. They had an easier time to develop for. We all know how that worked. But that being said there, let's end it there. I don't want to make the video too long here, but let's end on one more here. I think this is great. This encapsulates the Salt a little bit more. Tugger Nut, which I like to call him Nut Tugger because that's exactly what he is. That's what it feels like whenever he has a conversation with you. But he states exactly what good comes from comparing a new $700 console to a 5-year-old $450 console regarding the Xbox console. He's talking to Digital Foundry, by the way, and if you haven't noticed, John Linneman, one of the mainstays on there, he states it's interesting with a question mark because it's true. I mean, no, we're not saying that a 5-year-old console, or at this point 4.5 years old, if that, right, is going to be comparable to new tech. That's not what's being said, but we're seeing the value here. We're comparing it for a reason, but the Salt is there. Why are we doing this? This is not fair, guys. Stop the count. It's done. Why are you doing this? They can't stand it. I mean, this week as an Xbox fanboy or shill is on another level. Is just absolutely on another level. I love my PS5 Pro. I'm looking to maybe try and do some sort of a hands-on and review for that with my time on it, and hopefully that video will drop sooner than later. So if you see it before this video, I had time to do it. If you see it after the video, I had time to do it later, all that stuff here. But as you can see, they just can't stand it. Now, real quick, I want to end off on, by the way, let's define fanboy here. A lot of folks think fanboy just adheres to a person that likes a particular platform or brand. That makes you a fan. That doesn't make you a fanboy. Do we understand what a fan versus a fanboy, fangirl, whatever you want to name it? Do we understand the differences, by the way? I see a lot of folks in the comments, all over social media, you're a fanboy. Just because somebody prefers and enjoys a particular brand or platform over another doesn't make them a fanboy. What makes somebody a fanboy, and listen closely, zoom in if you want, whatever you want to do, listen very closely here. A fanboy is somebody that sits there in the world of delusion, defies all logic and common sense, absolutely defies all common sense and logic in regards to their brand, in favor of their brand. No matter any pros, any cons, they push it off to the side. Everything that I show on these videos, that is fanboyism. That's taking it to another level and then some. If you're crying and whining, if you spread misinformation, if you're trying to put down the other brand on purpose for no reason, if you're becoming a hypocrite because of stuff, you're going to fit in that category of fanboy. You can love Xbox all you want. You can have tattoos if you want of Xbox or Nintendo or Google Stadia even. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. You can have that and be a fan of something. You can be a fan of Marvel. You can be a fan of DC. You can be a fan of the G. Loomis brand for fishing rods and everything else. You can be a fan of a football team or any other college team or any other sports team. You can be a fan. But once you start denying the facts, once you start denying the common sense and legibility of everything and you start pushing it to the wayside and again, live in your delusional world, that is what classifies you as a fanboy. So don't feel bad if someone's calling you a fanboy because you're a fan of a certain platform. By all means, be a fan of Xbox. By all means, be a fan of Nintendo and have that as your favorite platform and that's your best and most fun place to play and you take pride in that. Good. Good on you. That doesn't mean you're a fanboy. Now, if I sat there and you're a Nintendo fan, we'll say Nintendo fan, and you turn around and you say, look, Nintendo Switch is more powerful than the Series S. It's not. If you turn around and say, Nintendo Switch has better graphical power than that of The Last of Us Part 1 or 2, that's incorrect. If you sit there and say, Nintendo, I enjoy Smash Brothers, my favorite platforming fighting game. I love Legend of Zelda because their story speaks to me, and to me, that's one of the best stories I've ever experienced in regards to Ocarina of Time, or Majora's Mask, or Breath of the Wild, whatever you want to say. That's fine. And it's okay to be a big fan of that. And again, you can have the Triforce tattooed on there, you can do whatever you want to do. That's fine. That makes you a fan, and it's okay to be a fan. It's not okay to, of course, be a fanboy and live in your world of delusion. Know the difference, folks. I'm glad we could have that little TED Talk. That being said, we'll wrap up the video here. Hopefully it wasn't too long. Appreciate that. Your guys' support is absolutely phenomenal as always, so thank you so much. I really appreciate that. If you can, definitely leave a like, comment. Would love to hear from you. Both those things help out the algorithm. If you haven't already, definitely consider subscribing. That does help out me as a small content creator. We're so close to that 2,500 subscriber goal. That's absolutely amazing. Thank you so much. And also, just one more favor, if I ever do any videos outside of the Salty Batch videos, feel free to check those out. Leave a like or comment or something too. That helps out those videos as well and helps us get a little bit of, I would say, multifaceted bit of information out there as well. So thank you in advance if you do that as well. So thanks again. Enjoy the rest of your day, everybody. And just remember, don't be a Salty Batch. And we'll see y'all next time on the next Xvault Gaming video. And until then, take care.